NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here as we are talking about Jonathan Taylor today, breaking down the top 5 potential trade destinations should the Indianapolis Colts move on from their star running back. Before we do, let's kind of set the scene for you of what led to this point. A tweet from Ian Rappaport over the weekend. Sources, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor has formally requested a trade after meeting with owner Jim Irsay. A text from Colts owner Jim Irsay on Jonathan Taylor's trade request, as reported by Rap Sheet. This tweet from Albert Breer. Let's show you that now. He says, "We're not trading Jonathan into discussion, not now and not October." So they say it's not happening, but there's some trouble in paradise going on here with Jonathan Taylor not wanting to be there, but a little bit more to that. We'll show you more here in just a second, but first, here's more from Irsay. "If I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor is out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. We know that. The National Football League rolls on. It doesn't matter who comes and goes, and it's a privilege to be a part of it." Jonathan Taylor, his reaction to Irsay's comments and the report out there that he had a back injury, and the Colts were going to put him on the non-football injury list. He had this to say. Number 1, never had a back pain. Number 2, never reported back pain. Not sure whose sources are, but find new ones. So it's a little dicey situation, to say the least, of what's going on with Jonathan Taylor in the Colts. Let me say this. Jonathan Taylor deserves better than the shenanigans from Jim Irsay here in the lowly Indianapolis Colts. This is a team who I believe is going to be the worst team in the National Football League this upcoming season. And you look at where the Colts are at, total rebuild mode, right? They are starting over, or at least they should be starting over anyway. Meanwhile, Jonathan Taylor, as he's still one of the top running backs in his prime, I think it's best for a divorce here, for these two parties to move on from each other, for the Colts to get what they can out of Jonathan Taylor, and for Jonathan Taylor to get a fresh start somewhere else and to be a part of a contending team. Not to mention, they're on separate timelines right now. The resume for Jonathan Taylor: former second-round pick in 2020 out of Wisconsin, a first-team All-Pro selection in 2021, and that season he led the league in both rushing yards and in rushing touchdowns. And you can see the statistics for Jonathan Taylor in his career have been nothing short of fantastic at this point in time. In 2022, in 11 games played, had over 860 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry. 2021, the best season of his career, with over 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5.5 yards per carry. His rookie year, the year prior, was solid as well, with over 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 5 yards per carry. Jonathan Taylor, he is him, and he deserves better than what the Indianapolis Colts have to offer personally. So let's start with, will a trade even happen? What do you think? Will the Colts trade Jonathan Taylor? Jim Irsay says it's not going to happen, but we know that people change their minds and lie all the time. It's our pinned comment today. Tell us what you think. Will the Colts trade Jonathan Taylor or not? Y for yes, in for no. Tell us what you think in the comment section below. So now, the trade destinations for Jonathan Taylor. First and foremost, we begin with the Chicago Bears. Da Bears. And you look at the Chicago Bears team, the number one reason why they could bring in a guy like Jonathan Taylor is the money. All about the Benjamins, right? They got more money to spend than anyone else. $28 million to be exact. So not only would they not have any issue paying him his money now, but also getting him a longer deal as well with the money that they have available for the future. Also, they have the draft capital to make a trade. 8 picks in next year's draft, including 3 in the first 2 rounds. And then on top of that, they're also lacking depth at the running back position. Khalil Herbert's not bad, but you need a little bit more than Khalil Herbert. They could certainly use Jonathan Taylor and provide some relief in the run game for Justin Fields to have some help there as far as that goes. Number 2 on our countdown of trade destinations for Jonathan Taylor is the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins flirted with Dalvin Cook for a long time. What about the idea of Jonathan Taylor potentially? Well, they have about $13 million in cap space. So they could bring him in pretty easily now. Would be tougher as far as getting a long-term deal done, but at least they could bring him in now anyway as is. They are looking for a true number one running back at this point in time. The Dolphins, you look at the skill positions, they're really good at the wide receiver spot, but the running back spot has question marks to say the least. Now, also, when you say why Miami is pretty high on this list, think about this. They have a reputation as of late of trading picks for players. They've done this before. They've been there, done that. So it wouldn't be surprising for the Dolphins to look at next year's draft and say, we're better off just going ahead and getting Jonathan Taylor rather than using these draft picks we have. That the Dolphins are kind of going all in of sorts, if you want to put it that way. What team will Jonathan Taylor play for next year? Is he back in Indianapolis? Is he with one of these teams we're talking about today? Weigh in the comments section. Tell me where you think Jonathan Taylor is ultimately going to end up. Folks, we're all over the Jonathan Taylor trade buzz. Each and every day we have updates on Jonathan Taylor. We're going to bring you a video, and we're covering it here on NFL Daily by Chat Sports with daily news and rumors. We do our live shows on Mondays. We'll do our Red Zone channel during the season as well. The latest happenings from across the National Football League, including right here with Jonathan Taylor, are covered here on NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Subscribe now, turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. You'll be glad you did. It is NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Subscribe now for free. Number 3 on our list is the Los Angeles Rams. And you look at this Rams team, and last year was very disappointing. It was the worst hangover I've ever seen coming off that Super Bowl victory. And so now, where you look at where the Rams are at, this team needs to make a splash, taking advantage of Aaron Donald towards the back end of his career, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. These guys aren't getting any younger. The Rams have about $9.86 million in cap space, so they could pay him for now, but obviously you would have some concerns about down the road of getting a deal done. But at least you could take care of things for now. Now, you look at this offense, and there's kind of a lack of explosiveness on offense for the LA Rams here. They don't really have an explosive skill position player right now besides Cooper Kupp. Jonathan Taylor could bring just that for the Los Angeles Rams, what they're looking for. And kind of what we talked about with the Miami Dolphins. The Rams were the originators of the F them picks mentality, right? With trading picks for players. The Rams have done this before, so they could very well be in position to make this type of move. Their track record says so. Number 4 on our list is the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, I think, are the most under-the-radar team in the NFL this season. You bring in a new offensive coordinator in Todd Monken. The receiving core is a lot better with the additions of OBJ and Zay Flowers and Nelson Aguilar. The tight end room's the best in the league. You got an MVP quarterback. What about the Baltimore Ravens? Just over $9 million in cap space. So they could pull this off for now. And another thing, you look at their running backs. Although J.K. Dobbins had a nice finish to the year last year, he's dealt with a number of injuries early on in his career. And there's question marks about his future. He wants to get paid more money. The Ravens are saying, wait, J.K., you've never had a 1,000-yard season. And on top of that, J.K., you have not been able to stay healthy as well. Why should we pay you that money? Maybe if you're the Ravens, you'd rather just say, why do we need J.K. Dobbins when we can have Jonathan Taylor instead? It would be an upgrade. And they are lacking depth at the running back position. The Ravens, traditionally speaking, have had problems when it comes to keeping their running backs healthy. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, among others here. They could use some help, and Jonathan Taylor would be a huge relief on that front. And this is a team that's, we mentioned, loaded on offense. The defense looks really good. They might just be a player away from taking that next step. Jonathan Taylor could be the difference for the Baltimore Ravens there. What team is the best fit to trade for Jonathan Taylor? We've given you a few teams. What do you think? Chime in, tell us in the comments section what team you believe is the best fit to trade for Jonathan Taylor. Last on our list, the number 5 team is the New England Patriots. And a lot of pressure on Bill Belichick entering 2023, as speculation is that if the Patriots do not make the playoffs, that Belichick is probably done after this season. The Patriots have a decent amount of cap space still available to spend, just over $15 million at this point in time, and they're lacking depth at the running back position. Ramondre Stevenson is going to be your number 1 running back, but that entire offense doesn't really have a whole lot of star talent beyond Ramondre Stevenson. Juju's all right. You got a couple other players on that team like Devontae Parker and others that are solid players, but nobody is a Jonathan Taylor quality player on that those skill position side for New England. So if you could pair him and Ramondre Stevenson up together and in that backfield, and we know Belichick loves to run the football, you make things easier on Mac Jones, that seems like a win-win for New England to make that happen. They could pay him not just this year, but they could give him that long-term deal that Jonathan Taylor wants as well. The Patriots, we mentioned, have a lot of issues that they're working through, and they're shopping around. They're trying to find somebody. Who's a player the Patriots will add before the season begins? Weigh in and tell us who you think it is in the comment section below. Subscribe now as we're talking about the NFL each and every day here on NFL Daily by Chat Sports. We'll continue to cover the latest on Jonathan Taylor and more. Stay tuned to the channel. We'll see you next time right here on NFL Daily.